check this thing out, and this thing, which is insane. I've got a whole medley of mountain bike products for you today, starting with this bicycle hanging above my head. This is the Cradle bicycle lift, and you mount it to your garage ceiling so you can get bikes up off the floor. And in the marketing pictures, you can see all the bikes are nicely lined up next to each other. In real life, they kind of spin around in circles. Now, it's worth noting that the bike will not spin if your ceiling's exactly the right height, where the Cradle can actually lock into place. But in my case, I can only do that if I hang bikes vertically like this. Actually kind of slick. With that said, the thing works. My ceilings in this garage are 13.5 feet tall. I did have to put a little chain on the end of the release cord so I could reach it, and I wish the bicycle came down a little bit lower, but it easily picks up my 25-pound hardtail. Now, you have to buy the version that's closest to the weight of your bike. This one is for 25-pound bicycles, and the one I have installed is for 40-pound bicycles, and so there's a serious recoil when I release mine. It's a little bit tricky. To get your bike down, you just grab onto the crank arm and pull. I've got to pull pretty hard on this one because it's the 40-pound version, and this bike is pretty light. Nevertheless, if I want to make it go back up, I just pull on the release, and the bike goes up. It goes up as high as you want it, and then you can kind of lock it into place. What's also interesting is the little release they designed to hold the bike there. So because my ceilings are so high, I can't really get the bike all the way to the floor, but I just lift up on it a little bit, and this thing comes off quite easily. You can see there's a little rubber strap and a release, and you just put the strap back around on itself, and nothing is touching your bike except for this nice little soft rubber piece. A single unit is $160. I think we're used to a price like that for something like this that's sold in small quantities. They do sell 2 and 3 packs of these so you can hang multiple bikes, but pretty much any solution like a hook or a bar is gonna cost way less than one of these to hang 5 or 6 bikes. But all in all, this is a pretty unique solution. It does work. It appears to be built well, and so if you wanna hang your bikes from your ceiling like that, here it is. This is a typical chest harness for an action camera, and as you can see, it looks kind of dorky, like you have huge suspenders on or something like that, and that might not matter to you if you're just at a bike park having fun with your friends, but sometimes it does, and there are other problems with action camera harnesses, like, I don't know, the difficulty of removing the camera. It's not that bad, but it's not that intuitive either. And so this is a magnetic action camera harness that you can put on underneath your shirt. So I have it installed outside my shirt to demonstrate it. Your action camera gets attached to this plate over here, and you can see the outline of these 4 magnets over here just slaps right into place, and it's strong. This is not coming off unless you purposely pull it or you get into some kind of a crash. And because it's magnetic, it'll work through your shirt. Now, I like this for several reasons. First of all, it's just an easier way to remove and reattach your action camera. I mean, you just pull on it and then it kind of self-aligns onto these magnets. That's pretty nice. But also, you can't see the harness on me anywhere, and because I'm a content creator by trade, I kind of think about these things. If you're watching a movie and you see the shadow of a boom mic or the reflection of a camera in somebody's sunglasses, it kind of pulls you out of the moment. Now, there's no secret that I have an action camera on here, but when you can hide the nuts and bolts of the operation, it's kind of good. And I think the same goes for when you're sharing memories or reliving memories. Having a big harness on just, I don't know, there's just something not memorable or enchanting about it. Another nice feature, I would never run an action camera like this because as soon as I lean over to hold onto the handlebars, it's gonna point down on my top tube, and so I would turn it upside down. And you can remove this part, and again, guides itself in magnetically, and then you can adjust it upside down to get the right angle. So my thoughts on this, for $27, there's not much to complain about here. It's made by Shorewo, and so we can be pretty sure that somebody else came up with this concept first and they copied it. I hope there is a better one out there because these straps do not feel very comfortable on my bare skin. And that's important because I think a lot of people would be getting this to wear under their shirt. Now, with that said, the chest strap over your shirt isn't really that comfortable either, and so we might be splitting hairs here. With that said, I'm going to be using this. I think it is really useful for video creation when you want to hide the harness, and it's really easy to get the camera on and off, which is nice because sometimes I like to get a shot talking to the camera and I don't want to have a camera on my chest, and then other times I need to get a first-person shot. So it is very flexible in that way, and I'd say it's definitely worth $27. Oh. Here are leashes for your AirPods that attach to your helmet. Very clever. These were sent to me by a subscriber whose company is called Voidmine. Very timely. And yeah, they attach to any AirPod and clip to your helmet strap. Earbud leashes are not a new thing, but I can't say that I've seen one that's specially designed for a helmet strap. You can see the clip is kind of flat and it just fits over it with pressure. It seems to be secure enough. I don't see how these would ever fall off. Now, if I were mountain biking with these and the AirPod was not in my ear, I could see how it would be kind of dangling and hitting against my cheek, and that could get kind of annoying, but I guess these are designed for people who are actually gonna have their earbuds in and use them. I generally don't on rides. I have a pair of sunglasses that have open air speakers in them, and if I'm gonna listen to a podcast or something on a climb, I prefer to do it that way because I don't want something that is plugging up my ear and distracting me. You can go with the one in the ear, but like I said, when you get to the top of your climb and you wanna start going downhill, yeah, you either have your earbuds in or you have them kind of hitting into your face, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. And so it is kind of nice then that they're pretty easy to remove. You can just pull it off the strap and throw it into your pocket or your bag or back into your AirPod case and not have it dangling and hitting into your face. So I can see these being good for commuters or mountain bikers, gravel riders, anybody that wants to have an earbud in their ear while they're riding but doesn't want to drop it. If you drop an earbud while you're riding your bike, good luck finding it. I would give you about a 50% shot. Now these are 15 Australian dollars, which would make it like 10 US dollars, I think. That's kind of what you would expect for something like this. It's made by a small company. It's a one-off product. I don't see how they could get it lower than that. I'm sure the $3 Amazon version that leaves like chemical burns on the side of your face is coming soon, or you could support viewers of this channel and get this one. This is the Topeak Tuneup station, and it's kind of like a parking spot for your bike, for inside your house or a nice garage, somewhere you don't want to put hooks on the wall or screw a lift into the ceiling. And it takes into account things that are common on modern bikes, electronics. You've got your bike lights, your access batteries, maybe you have an e-bike and you need to charge that. This kind of gives you a docking station for all that, a way to make the wires not so messy, and a place to put a few tools and actually work on your bike. Yes, this is also a work stand that attaches to your chainstay and your seat stay. Yeah, to my disbelief, this actually holds the bike quite securely, and you can cycle the drivetrain and everything. Comes on and off super easily, holds the bike up straight, the wheel doesn't move around. What more could you ask for? And there are accessories for it, like this tool tray here, where you can hold some wrenches and extra stuff to work on your bike. Now, it kind of looks like the base of a patio umbrella, but it's really well thought out. These are actually held closed with magnets. And then when you slide them open, you can see there's a divider in the middle with little notches so you can run wires through and keep everything nice and tidy. So you can put all your chargers and your wires towards the back, and then you can put tools and accessories and electronics in the front just to keep them out of sight. That's why I think this is kind of more geared towards a home or maybe a sunroom or something like that. Someplace you would store a bike, but that you want to keep presentable. I mean, if all this stuff was out of this box, it would be a big mess and tangle of wires that kids could get to and dogs could get to, and it just wouldn't look all that great. Now the base is plastic, but it is quite stable, and the thing goes together really easy. It works. Now the Topeak Tuneup station is $129. In 2024, that's the new $99. I think that's a pretty fair price for it. Even for what it is, which is a plastic piece with a bar sticking up. I believe this is separate, and so you're gonna be spending, I don't know, $170 on this thing. That sounds a little steep, but for what it does and how kind of neat it makes your room, I think it might be worth it for a lot of people. I'm actually kind of excited to use it, except my wife makes me keep all the bicycles in the garage. Now, while I was on Topeak's website, I saw the Torque Rocket Mini DX. It's an eye-watering $160, so I had to see why that was. Basically, it's a mini torque wrench that comes in a ballistic nylon pouch. Seems kind of crazy for that price, but it happens to be very nice. I mean, the thing is super refined. It's a very nice little torque wrench. It's like a miniature version of a full-size torque wrench. But nice or not, for $160, you could buy 2 really nice mini torque wrenches. Like this one right here. All the bits are inside of it. You can set the torque right here, and it basically does all the same sizes as this. And so what are we really getting here, and why is it $160? Well, first you're getting this ballistic nylon pouch. For what it's worth, it's pretty nice. It's got these magnetic latches over here. You open it up and then everything's held into place. Now, there is the driver itself, which is ratcheting and reversing. And then there's a magnetic bit holder, which is quite nice. You adjust the torque by turning this just like you would on a standard torque wrench, and then it actually clicks just like a full-size torque wrench. So it's not some mini bendy torque wrench. This is like a real torque wrench, and so it's probably pretty accurate. Then you have all your bits, which you have 2mm all the way through 6. It does not go to 8. Then you have some Torx bits and even a PH2. Then over here you have a bit extender, which is a very nice bit extender. It had better be. Then they give you just a normal little ratchet for working on your bike. And so this is kind of like a multi-tool with just wrenches. You could even put the bit into the end of this and use it kind of like a screwdriver. I mean, it's pretty flexible. It's also worth noting this gives you pretty granular control. 1 Newton meter or 6 Newton meters, you can go between any of those numbers. You can do 4.5 or 5.5, 1.5, pretty nice. But the thing is, I've reviewed a lot of tools like this where all the bits are separate, and what I don't like about it is this is meant to be a portable kit that you take with you, and there's all this kind of stuff that you can lose. You lose one of these bits, you gotta go chase down one of these bits to make your kit complete again. Now the other problem is it's a mini torque wrench, and so you can basically do what? Seat post clamps, handlebars, maybe handlebar clamps. You can't do crank sets, you can't do through axles, you can't do SRAM transmission. There are a whole bunch of things that you can't do with your $160 torque wrench. I don't really know how I feel about that. And so I thought to myself, now that I have this overpriced torque wrench to review in this video, what am I gonna do with it? I'm gonna use it. This is coming with me all the time. This freaking thing is nice as heck. I don't know what would possess me to actually spend the money on it and order it for myself, but now that I have it, all I want to do is use it. And so for that reason, it makes a really good gift. If you get this for any cyclist who works on their bike, they're gonna think it's nice, they're gonna use it, and you will have gotten them a gift that they wouldn't have gotten for themselves. That's the best kind of gift. And so I think this is a good thing to put on your holiday list for people you know. I mean, there's so many different ways that you can access a torque wrench for less than $160, and in my opinion, some more convenient ways than having all these little tiny bits in this kit. But it is just so incredibly nice. Every single thing about it is so, like, I just want to like I wish there was like a candy version of this so I could eat it. Like, yeah, definitely an emotional purchase more than a logical one. Now, speaking of miniature tools, this next product is absolutely mind-blowing. I might make a fool out of myself because all of you already know about this already, but this thing can remove a cassette from a bicycle, just this. Now, that's amazing because a cassette, which is that gear on the back of your bicycle, it's held on with a lock ring, and if you try and turn that lock ring, the whole cassette moves. And so you need some kind of cassette tool with some leverage, and then you also need cassette pliers or a chain whip to keep the cassette from spinning when you're working on it. This tool does it, just this tool. So you're out in the woods and you need to remove your cassette. That's the entire reason the Stein Tool exists for people who do a lot of touring or bike packing. They bring a smaller subset of their tools, and there's certain things that are kind of off the table. And so a repair like a flat tire or a loose bolt, you can just do with your multi-tool. And for anything else, you gotta somehow get your bike back into town and go to a bike shop. Now you can carry around a cassette tool that doesn't add a whole bunch of weight to your pack. So how does it work? How are we gonna turn this thing? Well, first you gotta remove the rear wheel. Now, once we have the rear wheel off, you have access to the lock ring on your cassette. And if you look at this Stein tool, it does have a little machined cassette pattern there, so we can stick it over here and lock it into place. So here's where things get interesting. You're gonna reinstall the wheel on the bike with the Stein tool in place. And then there's this little nub on it that you're supposed to kind of position behind the derailleur. Not the easiest thing, but you're making a compromise here to save weight. Insert the rear axle now. So it's installed. Now, we're supposed to be able to crack this lock ring loose by pedaling the bike. So we're gonna try that. That's why I left it in a low gear. I figured it would give me a little bit more leverage, but we're about to find out in a second. I think we cracked it loose. So we have our rear wheel free right now. Okay, let's check it out. Yes, oh my God, we have our lock ring off. I mean, that's pretty ingenious. And so now, how do you get the cassette back on? How do you tighten that lock ring? Grab the wheel and slowly turn the wheel backwards. So you can actually tighten it back on by pulling the wheel backwards manually with your hand. I think I feel it tightening back on. Like, you see it how it's indexed? Just like when you turn it with the wrench. Okay, I'd say that's enough torque. Okay, so let's take the axle back out. Yeah, our cassette is like way on there. That is just brilliant. Okay, so I'm quite impressed with this thing. I got it on eBay for $40. It looks like they're made in pretty small quantities. That was before I realized that Junior sells one for like $8. I don't know which one came first, but these are talked about on message boards and in forums all the time. I'm just amazed at how well it works. It does everything it says it does. If you want to have a really, really small subset of tools and you don't want to carry around a big chain whip and a cassette wrench, this thing can get you out of a jam. Now, I have seen people say that you can't remove SRAM cassettes with this because they kind of move out as you loosen it. I could see that being a problem. These are going to be mostly for people who are doing touring and things like that, and so they might not have as much SRAM as we do on mountain bikes. But that's still going to be a pretty common problem. Also, this thing can actually scratch your frame on the inside of the dropout there, and so they include these little shims over here that you can put in between the Stein tool and the frame to stop it from scratching it. I didn't really care, and so I did it without, and it didn't scratch my frame, and so maybe I lucked out. Now, whether or not I end up needing this, I'm gonna keep it in my toolkit when I'm traveling because it's there and it weighs next to nothing. I mean, it's just, there's not much more to say about it besides I can't believe this exists, I can't believe how well it works, and I can't believe how easy it is to use. Now, there's one more thing I have to do with this bike. Thanks for riding with me today. I'll see you next time.